Very, very sad news indeed, but great that the football family are coming out to pay tribute to him. Right, it's Hearts against St Mirren live at Tynecastle. Full commentary to come. High time then we crossed over to our commentary team because the players, both sets of them, are out on the pitch under the floodlights at Tynecastle. Our team there this evening is Michael Stewart, Stephen Thompson, and hello to Alistair Lamont.
Hello there, Jane. Thank you very much, and welcome to Tynecastle for the first Premiership game of the weekend. An electric atmosphere inside a packed stadium this Friday night as these sides resume hostilities following the weekend draw in Paisley. Both teams come into tonight's fixture unbeaten in their last 6, with Hearts looking to extend their advantage in third over Aberdeen to 6 points, but a St Mirren win takes them fourth and within a couple of points of tonight's opponents. It really is a tremendous atmosphere inside Tynecastle as the sides gather round and prepare to get this game underway. Capacity crowd, we're led to believe. Just about 600 or so St Mirren fans have made the trip from Paisley, but they would have brought more had they been able to fit them in. But such is the feel-good factor around Tynecastle right now that Hearts fans are desperate to see their side, and they are in good fettle, particularly at Tynecastle. St Mirren, we know, have had their troubles on the road. We will see how that transpires this evening. It will be the visitors to get us underway. They will go from left to right as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand, high up, with a particularly good view here at Tynecastle. Hearts in their traditional maroon tops, white shorts, maroon socks. St Mirren likewise traditional black and white stripes, white shorts and socks. And it's Mark O'Hara who gets us underway. It is something of a makeshift St Mirren defence, as we've heard Stephen talking about earlier on. We'll see how they get on. Injury and suspension causing problems for Stephen Robinson in terms of his selection. And Hearts have possession just at the edge of their penalty area. And here's Rowles, who looks to be starting on the left of a back three. And it's Toby Civic out to the new man. Not David Hill, not Jimmy Hill, but James Hill, we'll call him. And he fires the ball out to this near side to Alex Cochrane, midway inside the St Mirren half. Robert Snodgrass picking up. He's been instrumental in everything that's been good about Hearts of late. Here he is once more, about 30 yards from goal. Plays it square. Barry Mackay with the early shot. Comes off Tanzer just inside his own penalty area, and Bacchus launches it long, looking for the run of Alex Grieve, who just fails to keep it in. But a good start from the home side. Michael Stewart, Barry Mackay getting the shot off, but Tanzer in the way.
Yeah, it is a bright start, and look, there's no great surprise that you could see when the Hearts defence picked the ball up, Alex Goggins was trying to get himself tight onto Robert Snodgrass and just sniff out any chance of Snodgrass getting on the ball and trying to build the attacks. But Hearts were still able to work it, and when it went out to James Hill, I thought he did very well, as he's just done again, in skipping past Curtis Main. And clearly that's what St Mirren are going to do. They're going to try and allow Hill and Rowles on the left the ball to try to build the attacks and make sure that Snodgrass doesn't get on it, because he's been instrumental for Hearts in the last few weeks. It
was a confident first touch that Hill had there when he first received the ball, opened up and drove forward, and you know, a great start to his Hearts career for him.
Here's O'Hara though for St Mirren. Mackay trying to get back at him, but O'Hara continues to come forward. It's Main, it's a good ball in. Alex Grieve threw himself at the ball, and he was only inches away from connecting in the 6-yard box, and Hearts survive. But that was a terrific ball in from Main, and Alex Grieve, Stephen, so close to connecting.
Inches away. I mean, he threw himself at the ball in the middle of the 6-yard box. The ball in from Curtis Main in his left foot was absolutely superb, and it was probably just about 6 inches away from getting on the end of Alex Grieve's head.
Well, you can see that's what St Mirren will try to do. The ball into the midfield, win it, counter and break quickly. It was a great ball from Curtis Main. I don't think Grieve was as close as the two you suggest, and his arm was what was thrown out. It certainly was.
Try and make it sound good for the listeners.
He was in the neighbourhood, but I don't think 6 inches was a close measurement.
7 then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was pretty close. Anyway, it didn't connect, and that's the main thing. St Mirren have got a free kick 15 yards inside the Hearts half. It's been a good start for the visitors as well. Both sides should be full of confidence given their unbeaten runs of late, albeit that 6-game unbeaten run for St Mirren does include 5 draws and a solitary victory against Ross County. Here comes the free kick, swung in deep towards the edge of the box. There's claims in there for a handball. Didn't look like it from this vantage point as Civic gets the ball half clear. Then Gogic returns it, Greaves in there once more. Can't really make anything of it. Hearts hack it clear, but St Mirren will be pleased with the way they've begun this game. The ball's knocked all the way back to Trevor Carson at the edge of his penalty area. Anything in that penalty claim for either of you?
No, I thought it came off the back of his leg, to be honest with you. I don't think there's much in that.
Certainly, obviously VAR is in operation, as it always is in the Premiership these days, and anything untoward will be looked at.
Well, we have the handball expert with us this evening anyway, so I'm sure he'll be across anything if it happens.
Throw into St Mirren over on the far side to be taken by Tanzer, but he's going to leave it for Shaughnessy, who's getting a rare start.
Yeah, he's got a long throw.
He has got the long throw. I'm led to believe James Hill's got a long throw on him as well. We can look forward to that. That was a bit of inside info from Alan Preston. Shaughnessy has gone back the way instead to Tanzer, who then throws it into the penalty area. It was won by Bacchus, but couldn't find a teammate with the knockdown, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. We've played almost 5 minutes here. They've flown by. A good start to the game from both sides, but it's goalless in the opening exchanges.
Yeah, and St Mirren have actually had 3 really decent balls into Hearts' box in that kind of 4 minutes 50 seconds, so they'll be delighted with the start that they've made.
Here is James Hill, 21-year-old, brought in on loan initially, at least from Bournemouth.
Well, it was an area that Hearts desperately needed to strengthen in, even without taking into consideration Craig Halkett's injury. I just think that right side of the centre half was a weak spot for the side so far.
Here's Ginnelly, good couple of touches from him, left side of the penalty area. Shaughnessy trying to get back with him. It's Cochrane now, left hand side of the box. First couple of attempts at getting across it and fail, and St Mirren able to work it clear up to Grieve. Snodgrass working hard though, then he's taken down by Grieve, and it's a free kick to Hearts, and that was good industry there by Robert Snodgrass, doing a bit of the dirty work to win the free kick for his side.
It was great play, you know, and it's just intelligent as well, because the centre half Kai Rolls has been pinned by Grieve. He did really well, the striker, but as a midfielder all you're then looking to do is get across the face of him, get on top of him, make sure he's a meat in the sandwich and you can nick the ball off him, and that is certainly what Robert Snodgrass did, and he's won Hearts a free kick in a dangerous area that he'll be able to whip the ball into the box with.
Yeah, a few yards in from the left-hand touchline, but 35 yards, 40 yards from the goal. It's headed away, I think, by Taylor, who was making his first start for St Mirren, having come on for his debut on Saturday against St Mirren. And Hearts will have a throw-in over on the far side.
I see Hill's not taking his long
it's not. Can't be that long.
Good out.
Well, it's blame Alan Preston for that one.
As he's chuckling at home.
Yeah, he's done your kipper there.
He likened him to Dave Challoner, the former Tranmere player who had the...
Maybe it wasn't a long thrown that he was telling you about.
Definitely was. Anyway, here is Cibic for Snodgrass, takes the ball just inside his own half, closed down by Grieve, out to the right hand side to Hill. Gogic making it difficult for him to find a teammate, and he can't do so, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side. 7 in, no goals at Tynecastle.
Curtis Main.
I can see the similarities, Mikey. I can see the similarities.
Thanks, Michael, and always rely on you to point out any errors, even though no one would have been any the wiser had you not mentioned that. Taylor takes the throw-in. Shankland battling away with Taylor. Hearts pick up possession. Snodgrass finds Halliday, and now it's Ginnelly, right hand side of the penalty area as Hearts come forward. broke kindly there for Halliday, but he just couldn't quite take it in his stride. I think he thought perhaps Shaughnessy was going to get a touch on it. Didn't really anticipate it, and it goes wide for a goal kick to St Mirren.
Yeah, Ginnelly getting in behind again. His pace really does offer such a threat for Hearts, and he cuts it back. I just felt as though Lawrence Shanklin should have shouted to Andy Halliday. Arrived in the box quite late, but Lawrence was sitting at the edge of the 18, and Harry missed it. Lawrence would have been able to take a touch.
Well, here is that applause in the 8th minute for the young Hearts fan, as Brian and Jane both mentioned. Young Rudy Abbott, 8 years old, who passed away recently after a very brave battle against cancer, ultimately losing that battle. Tragic passing, and the family hopefully will take some solace from the acknowledgement from the Hearts fans and St Mirren fans for a young man's passing. A devastating moment for his family. And Tynecastle rises as one in applause in memory of the young man. Joe Shaughnessy about to take a throw-in also adds to the applause. The Tynecastle crowd now roar their team on, and Shaughnessy prepares to take the long throw-in from the right-hand side this time. 30 yards from goal. It's one almost onto the penalty spot. Shanklin back there to head it clear. Hearts managed to clear their lines, and back with Taylor, who could have turned on the halfway line and knocked the ball long. It goes back to his goalkeeper instead. 9.5 minutes played, still no goals. Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. Out for a throw into Hearts over on the far side.
Yeah, on that occasion Taylor receives the ball. He's under no pressure whatsoever, and St Mirren have still got all their big players up from the previous long throw from Shaughnessy. Just take a touch and put it back into a dangerous area on the diagonal. Instead he kind of takes the easy route and goes back to his goalkeeper.
Here's Ginnelly in behind Shaughnessy momentarily. The defender recovers. Ginnelly still has it now. Michael Smith. Flag goes up against Smith. Didn't look like he'd gone offside when the pass was played, but the assistant quick with the flag on that occasion. It will be a free kick to St Mirren just outside their penalty area. Saturday's draw in Paisley was the first time in the last 5 meetings that Hearts hadn't won. They won all 4 last season, including a Scottish Cup tie.
Yes.
Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry, Alistair. I was going to say St Mirren don't often win here at Tynecastle. It's not a kind of happy hunting ground for them.
Do you want me to mention the fact that you were playing the last time they won here?
I wasn't teeing you up there, Alistair.
That's kind of what it felt like.
No, well, you can tell me if you want.
2013.
Oh, really? Was I playing?
Didn't score though. John McGinn and Paul McGowan on the score sheet in a 2-0 victory in October of 2013.
Was that a motivational team talk that led to that?
It must have been, Mike. It must have been.
Must get the inside story on this. St Mirren have a corner over on the far side. St Mirren left. Curled in by Flint's a good ball. Headed away though from the edge of the 6-yard box. Halliday though can't help it on. It's Main, and Xander Clark has to make the save as the ball broke to Main inside the penalty area. It's a poor clearance from Clark, although it's picked up by Cochrane. Falls kindly for Hearts, and here they come on the counter. It's Barry Mackay now, right hand side, coming infield up towards the edge of the penalty area. Now Ginnelly. Halliday leaves it to the left hand side. Snodgrass will pick up about 35 yards from the goal line. Cochrane in support. Snodgrass lays it into the penalty area instead. It's Ginnelly trying to turn away from Gogic. Back to Cochrane it goes, and now Snodgrass. Snodgrass finds Ginnelly once more, left hand side of the box. Was he fouled there by Gallagher? No, says the referee, but it's given away to Rowles. Rowles can't find a teammate, and his Bacchus working hard, but gives it to his fellow Australian Kai Rowles. Hearts pick up once more. Cochrane for Snodgrass. Cochrane once more, and now Rowles in the halfway line, going back the way to start another attack. Sibic, who really has begun to play his way into this team, really finding form of late. Mackay for Smith, and now Hill back to the edge of the centre circle. It's Rowles. It's such an impressive World Cup and an impressive start to his Hearts career. So important for Hearts to have him back, particularly with the likes of Kingsley out injured again. Here's Sibic out to Hill, who's seen plenty of the ball in his Hearts debut, crossing the halfway line. Now it's Mackay, right hand side, infield to Shankland. That time Michael Smith looked like he was offside, and the assistant's flag does go up, much to the annoyance of the Hearts fans right behind him, but it looked like the right call on that occasion. 12 and a half on the clock here. Hearts nil, St Mirren nil.
It did look offside that time.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree.
I think the frustration comes from it looked like the linesman was a bit slow to put his flag up, as if he was unsure, but certainly that one was a lot more clear cut than the one that he flagged for straight away earlier on when he made the overlap and run.
He'll just be doing this new thing of waiting a few seconds before he puts his flag up, but it was that obvious that it really had to go up quite quickly.
Free kick taken then by Trevor Carson. And by Main, Civic nods it down to Hill just on the edge of his penalty. He's put under pressure by O'Hara, touches it back to Clark. Good composure there from the defender, and Clark just hoists it over the halfway line. Shankland can't bring it under control, and it's Gogic now. Forward the ball comes for Grieve, tracked by Hill. Panzer makes the run down the flank, comes infield instead. Bacchus going for goal. Thought that was going to be closer than it ended up. Off target in the end from Keanu Bacchus, who's looking for a corner kick, but it will be a goal kick to Hearts.
It was a lovely take and turn from Bacchus, right on the corner of the box. Just dropped the shoulder, opened his body up, and was able to get the strike on goal. I don't know about you, Todd, it was impossible to say whether it did take the deflection or not.
But actually I really liked Alec Greaves' role in the build up to that as well. He made a channel run, and when he received the ball he did really well to hold it up under severe pressure, got turned and then found the pass into Bacchus just at the edge of the 18. You're right, his first touch was excellent, the way he kind of opened his body onto his right foot and tried to go for that kind of top left corner of Zander Clark's goal, but he was convinced there was a nick, but you can't tell from up here.
Almost quarter of an hour played. We still await the first goal. Chances at either end, albeit not entirely clear cut, but positive certainly from both sides in the opening stages.
I think Stephen Robertson will be delighted with St Mirren's start to the game. I really do. I think they've looked a threat. They've not really been troubled too much by Hearts so far in the game.
Shaughnessy lining up another long throw, this time from the left hand side, about 15 yards from the corner flag. St Mirren have plenty bodies forward. Again he's taking it back the way to Tanzer though. He plays it short then to Gogic, and now it's Shaughnessy with a chance to cross. Left hand side's a good looking ball, knocked down by O'Hara. Gogic trying to make something of it. Civic gets it half clear, and then Mackay helps it on, and here come Hearts on the counter. It's Shankland on his own though, up against Taylor. St Mirren have got plenty of bodies back. Hearts need to get him some support. Brilliant play by Shankland. He was almost completely isolated, but he holds it up superbly and then finds Cochrane with the crossfield ball. He lays it back to Ginnelly. Ginnelly on the angle of the box, left hand side. He looks a more confident player, getting a good run in the team, good run of good fitness as well, which I would imagine from Josh Ginnelly's perspective is as important as anything. He's struggled to string appearances together in his time at Hearts, but this is his 11th straight start.
You were right though, Al. It's an excellent link-up play from Lawrence Shankland. You know, it's so important as a striker when you receive the ball and your team or your midfield are detached from you, that you hold it for that 2-3 seconds and allow your midfield to get up and in support, and then he managed to switch the play and set up the attack. He'll be very keen to impress tonight, knowing that Steve Clark's in the stands.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, absolutely. Here he is in possession, left hand side, skips away from the challenge of Declan Gallagher. He was fouled right on the edge of the box, and the Hearts skipper goes down and earns his side a free kick. There wasn't all that much in it, but I think the referee makes the right call. There was enough in it.
That was good play from Hearts as well. They were patient, they built it, worked it down that left hand side eventually, and Lawrence Shankland, the ball got played down the line. I've got to be honest, I thought he was second best for the ball, but Declan Gallagher was very slow to get his way into the area, and then I don't think there's any question as Shankland nicked inside him, he was checked by Declan Gallagher. And just on Shankland, I think he's in a perfect spot to be getting into the Scotland squad now.
Snodgrass, left hand side, free kick, stands up to the back post. Shankland's there, headers down, saved by Carson, straight at him in truth, where he had to react to keep it out, and it remains after 17 minutes, Hearts 0, St Mirren 0. Here come the visitors, bounding forward down the left hand side is Tanzer, lays it back to O'Hara. O'Hara midway inside the Hearts half, left channel, brings it out to Gallagher, who might be playing with a slight injury just to help his team out. He did miss Saturday's game with an injury, as Bacchus does well. I think he's won his side a corner down the right hand side.
He did really well, and it wasn't the best pass down the line for him, but he managed to get there just in front of Michael Smith, I think it was, and then
Andy Halliday.
Was Andy Halliday? Sorry, with nowhere to go, he managed to nick it off him and win a corner for St Mirren. Mikey's policing the names tonight very well into Salistar.
Well, that's his job. Here's a corner, left hand side. It's Tanzer that comes in, swings it in left footed from the right of St Mirren, and eventually it breaks off a St Mirren player, and this goes behind for a goal kick. It was a dangerous looking ball from Tanzer. He's got such a good delivery in that left foot, but Hearts able to deal with it, and we're 18 minutes in and still no goals. But Lawrence Shankland absolutely must be in Steve Clarke's thoughts.
It's going to be, I mean, 100%. And you know, you think about, you know, when he's broken into the Scotland squad before, you know, with all due respect to where he's been previously, not just the club but also scoring goals in the Championship. Then he's moved abroad, not really setting the heather on fire, whereas now he's at one of the biggest clubs in the country. He's wearing the captain's armband and he's banged in 15 league goals. There's no doubt in my mind he's in the best place he's been with regards to, you know, staking a claim, not just in the squad but really knocking on the door to potentially, you know, having an impact on the park.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think too many people would be arguing with you there. Just a couple of goals away from being the first Hearts player since John Robertson, almost about 30 years ago, to score 20 in a season. Brilliant ball in from Cochrane. It's Shanklin getting on the end of it, but the angle was too much for him and he couldn't get it back on target. But a terrific ball in from Alex Cochrane from this left hand side. Almost 20 minutes played though. Hearts nil, St Mirren nil.
Well, the first pass from Robert Snodgrass out to Cochrane was absolutely sensational. A 40-yard diagonal ball. It allowed Cochrane to take a touch. He puts the early ball in behind the St Mirren defence. It was a fantastic ball, really dangerous ball, and Lawrence Shanklin just coming in at the back post, possibly a fraction too late, couldn't make a good connection with it.
Goal kick St Mirren, taken by Carson, set long over the halfway line. It's Main getting something on it. Bacchus and Halliday contest it, and then it's thumped clear by Cochrane. Out of play down in front of us on the St Mirren right. Declan Gallagher comes across to take the throw in midway inside his own half. Takes his cue from the referee David Monroe as to how far he's allowed to progress before taking this throw in. Bacchus comes short to offer himself. Gallagher goes long though, comes off the head of Rawls and breaks for Grieve. Grieve trying to bring it under control, about 25 yards from goal out to the right hand side. It's Flynn. Flynn digs the cross out. Zander Clark goes to take and clutches it at his back post under no real pressure. And St Mirren can't find a way through.
Again, I have to compliment Alex Grieve on his link-up play. The ball up to him was a difficult one at his chest. He took his touch under pressure from the defender, managed to keep control of it, spun it out wide, and actually it looked like a reasonable ball in from Ryan Flynn, but no problem for Zander Clark, who come and collected it confidently.
There's James Helen, plenty of room over on the right hand side, crossing the halfway line. Plays it short to Smith. He goes infield looking for Shanklin, to gets it at the second attempt. Gogic just seeing the ball out of play though, and it'll be a St Mirren throw in to be taken by Richard Taylor, who came in from Waterford a couple of weeks back. Down the line it goes, flicked on by Tanzer. Hearts knock it clear. Mackay can't keep it in play though, and it will be another St Mirren throw. How will Robbie Nielsen be feeling about the opening 21 minutes or so, Michael?
You know, I think Tom made a good point earlier on that, you know, Stephen Robinson will be very happy with how the game's, you know, played out for St Mirren so far. But I don't think Robbie Nielsen will be too disappointed. You know, there's been some positive moments. I think he'll just be looking for a little bit more intensity and tempo to the Hearts play. It's been there sporadically so far.
Gogic gives it away to Halliday, who can't quite find the pass for Ginnelly, but then Snodgrass is taken down, and that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Keanu Bacchus in the middle of the park. As Snodgrass threatened to mount a counter-attack for the home side, and the first yellow card of the game shown to the Australian midfielder of St Mirren.
I think it's possibly a touch harsh. I mean, there was a bit of a mix-up from the two central St Mirren midfielders, and Robert Snodgrass was onto it in a flash. He nicks it just a millisecond before Keanu Bacchus got there, and I don't think there was anything too cynical in it.
Snodgrass has given it away though. He was trying to find Mackay. St Mirren breaking down the left hand side. Main Grieve was taken out of play off the ball. Ball into the box is harmless from Main. Grieve still complaining to referee David Monroe that he was taken out of play. He might have a case, but play is continuing.
You see, when you say Robert Snodgrass has given it away, you know, he's the last person to touch the ball, but for me, Barry Mackay is the one that he vacated the space where Snodgrass is playing that. There is no other pass that Robert Snodgrass had. It was very tight. He's looking to play little quick 1-2s, and Barry Mackay just ran away. That's why when he popped it inside, the St Mirren player was able to step onto it, because Mackay just stepped away. He had to support Snodgrass. He ran away and gave Snodgrass no option.
Yep, that's a fair point. Robert Snodgrass, I was reading an interview with him during the week where he's talking about being happy to take the ball in these tight areas and try and create opportunities by enticing players onto him and then finding the passes, and he's certainly more than capable of doing that. It's really interesting to see him playing in that deeper midfield role nowadays. He's very comfortable in it.
Because he's got great composure and he's got a wonderful first touch, but when it gets into those moments like that where it's extremely tight, you need to have your teammates giving you options.
Yeah, you don't want to be seeing backs. That's what he saw when he received the ball. But yeah, I agree, his composure is absolutely outstanding. He's been an inspired signing, and you can tell that's why he's played at the level he's played at for such a long part of his career. He's an outstanding footballer.
Barry Mackay has run into trouble, and St Mirren have it on the break once more. It's Main on the right hand side coming in towards the penalty area, tries to curl it goalwards straight into the arms. Rather tame effort in the end from Curtis Main, and easy for Xander Clark to take it. 25 minutes almost on the clock.
Well, Hearts need more out of Mackay and Andy Halliday in the middle of the park. You know, for all the good that we're talking about with Robert Snodgrass, he's not an athletic player. He's not somebody that's going to go clattering into tackles. He needs more from those two other guys that are playing beside him to actually combat and get up against the St Mirren players. And also in possession, there's not been enough from Barry Mackay and Halliday either.
When you look at the St Mirren central midfield three of Bacchus, O'Hara and Gogic, those are three players that will rat you. They'll be on top of you, and Gogic is fantastic at it, and Barry Mackay will not be enjoying facing up against Gogic at all. And at this minute in time, I would say that the St Mirren three are probably getting the better of the Hearts three.
Here's Main trying to get away from Riles. He's done really well again. Curtis Main finds Grieve, who comes out to the right hand side. It's Flynn, gets the cross in, slight deflection. Clark comes and takes good confident catch from the goalkeeper right on the edge of his 6-yard box, takes the pressure right off his defence.
That's a very good take from Xander Clark. Exactly that, Al. You know, it's bending away from him as well. He judged it perfectly, came and took it flawlessly, and not only that, he's then looking to start the next attack quickly.
I just want to point out that Michael Smith was booked belatedly by David Monroe after the ball eventually went out of play for that nick on Alex Grieve, as St Mirren countered a few minutes ago. So a yellow card apiece, one for Bacchus, one for Michael Smith. Hearts on in possession, no goals, 26 in at Tynecastle. Decent game so far though, no clear-cut opportunities, you'd have to say. A Shanklin header
that was
at
the
the
best
back
one.
post was probably the most clear-cut, and
great ball.
Certainly forced Carson into a save. It's Cochrane into the penalty area, high up in the air off Gallagher, not entirely clear. Cochrane still trying to make something of it, left hand side almost in the goal line. Back comes Bacchus to try and help out his defence, and behind for a corner kick.
That's a wonderful ball from Hill, crossfield, real pace and accuracy. Cochrane one touch and then slings it into the box. It was probably about half a yard away from getting the ball in like he did a few minutes ago, right behind the defence. On that occasion it was just a little bit too close to Shaughnessy.
Here's Snodgrass from the left hand side for Hearts, left footed outswinger into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's Main back there to head clear, picked up by Mackay. He'll find Snodgrass once more, still left hand side. Snodgrass, another good ball in, but it's Main once more who gets his head to it at the near post.
That one was just caught, his first touch got it caught under his feet, and that was why his delivery didn't get past the near post. But the corner kick delivery was absolutely sensational. You know, it's whipped in, it's flat, it's right on the 6-yard box. It's just crying out for somebody to go and attack it.
St Mirren are a big team though, and they defend set plays really well. You know, you look across the pitch and you've got Gogic, great header of the ball, O'Hara, you've got the three centre halves, Declan Gallagher obviously there as well, and you can bring Curtis Main back into the fold, who's obviously very good in there as well. They're quite comfortable at defending cross balls.
Hearts throw in down in front of us. Hearts left, Alex Cochrane to take about 20 yards inside St Mirren territory. Still we await the breakthrough as Royals picks up possession and then plays it infield to Sibic, who will go across the park to the right hand side to James Hill, who has slotted into that defence pretty comfortably. He looks good on the ball. He's played a couple of really good cross-field passes, as Mikey was saying, and here he is in possession once more, getting it back off Xander Clark, who will also be looking to catch the eye of Steve Clark, with the Scotland goalkeeper's position very much up for grabs, you'd have to say. Here is Barry Mackay crossing the halfway line and coming towards the St Mirren penalty area. Plays a 1-2 with Shanklin, then gets it into Halliday, back for Mackay. Mackay goes for
what a goal!
And finds it! Superb goal from Hearts. The build-up was immense and the finish was absolutely clinical from Barry Mackay. The first time they've been able to cut through that St Mirren back line. It's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
That is absolute top class. It really is. For, you know, right from the get-go at the right back area where Hill picks it up, good composure, they pop into Snodgrass and then it just starts from there. He whips the ball round the corner out to Kai Rolls, and it just meant that St Mirren were stretched for one of the first times in the game. Barry Mackay picks it up, he attacks that space, he gets a little 1-2 off his I think it was Shanklin that played it with him, and then he pops it back into the feet of Halliday, slides it back into Mackay's path, and he just bends it into the far corner. Absolutely brilliant team goal from Hearts, wonderfully finished off by Barry Mackay.
It's a goal of the highest quality, it really is. A moment of sheer magic from Barry Mackay. The quality of the pass in for the 1-2 off Shanklin, when he received the ball back, the composure to pop it off to Andy Halliday again. Andy Halliday does well and is patient to roll him back in, but the finish on his right foot is absolutely sublime. A superb goal. And
he's been quiet so far, Mackay.
He's been very quiet.
I was just talking about how you're looking for more, but that speaks volumes of the quality that Hearts have got in this side now.
Mark O'Hara might have a problem here. Alex Gogic is calling for the ball to be put out of play so he can receive treatment, and the St Mirren midfielder is on the deck and the physios come on. That's Barry Mackay's 4th goal of the season, and a quite splendid one it was. I don't think he scores rubbish goals, in all honesty, but that one was sheer class in terms of the build-up.
Any goal's a good goal, Alistair.
In terms of the finish. I'm just going to say also, when it was in the build-up, I think it was Michael Smith who was on for the pass from Halliday. When he picked the ball up, and I actually thought that was the more sensible pass, but what do I know? He lays it off for Mackay, and he does the mist.
It went through my head as well, Alistair, because when he received it, Smith was in space with a slightly tighter angle for the shot, but he just waited that extra couple of seconds.
Also, I think it was Halliday's first touch. It got caught under his feet a little bit,
so that pass was gone to Smith.
It would have been difficult for him to dig it out, to flick it out to Michael Smith. Whereas he, as Tomo was saying, the first touch, it meant it was going to be difficult for him to play that, and he just had the composure to not try and panic, just wait that split second longer. And Barry Mackay's run, I think, pretty much made his mind up just to roll it back into his path, and he waited it perfectly so that Mackay can hit that first time.
I think Mark O'Hara's game is over, just as St Mirren don't need any more selection difficulties. And get a bit of news on that from Brian McLaughlin, who's pitch side.
Yeah, Mark O'Hara is already up the tunnel and in the St Mirren dressing room. His game is over. I think there's a problem with his right ankle. He is off. The game is over after 31 minutes, and the player coming on to replace him will be number 11, Greg Kiltie.
Just wonder whether that's something that's been, troubling him before, because
I didn't notice any impact injury.
No, and it wasn't as if it was, let's see if he can run it off or how he can get on with it. It was literally, he's down, make the sub look, get him off.
Yeah, it did look like something that as soon as he went down, Gogic was very keen to have play stopped, as if it was almost something that was threatening to happen at some stage. And given their issues with suspension and injury, you can imagine that there might be one or two playing through knocks and whatever, as Main heads well wide of target, and the goal kick is quickly taken. It's the goal scorer Barry Mackay who comes forward down the left hand side. Cochrane just beside him. He goes back the way though instead to Rawls, who in turn goes back to his goalkeeper Xander Clark. Picked up now by Civic just outside the penalty area. 33 minutes played. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Got Barry Mackay with the only goal of the game so far.
You know, the thing that I really like about Hearts and impresses me now, they're not a side that panics. They know what they're trying to do. They're coming up against a difficult opposition, but they keep doing the right things. You know, they're playing and passing and probing, and that's what good sides do. You know, they'll find their rhythm eventually, as they did with the goal. It's exciting times for Hearts. They're a good side, as we've mentioned on a number of occasions, with a lot of injuries, but you look at the form they're in now, and it looks, and it should be, like they're only going to get stronger as the rest of the season goes on.
You think about it, Mikey, you're missing Halkett, possibly their best defender. You're missing
Kingsley,
you're missing Boyce, and you're missing Beningame in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 4 serious players to bring back.
And Craig Gordon.
Aye, good point. Good point.
There's a spine of a team there.
I mean, you look at the squad, they've got strength on the bench as it is.
Yep.
It's Robbie's put together a very, very strong squad here.
Yeah, I guess credit for that also has to go to Joe Savage, working in terms of recruitment and so on.
Absolutely, Al. Another thing is that, you know, yes, there's been some recruits that have not hit the ground running, but you can get away with that when you've got so many that have done well. Because you look at Kemar Zoglu and Grant, for me, not bad players, but it's quite noticeable that they're not in the team. And I think you can get away with that when, as I said, you've got so many others that are having an impact and are strengthening the 11, the starting 11. And you look at the squad as a whole now, with the guys that are coming in January here. This is a good team, even with those players that are out injured.
Yeah, the two who are on the bench tonight who have just signed look pretty exciting. Utara Odo and Garan Kwol, who certainly, as you mentioned, Mikey, a couple of cameos at the World Cup against France and Argentina, and I know Newcastle are very excited about what he can offer. Hearts having to do a bit of defending right now with 10 minutes before the interval.
And there's a guy there on the bottom, you know, he's just got the shy there for his side. Kai Rowles has been arguably the best signing, I would say, up there with Lawrence Shankland. You know, completely different player. Obviously, he's a defender. He's not going to get the headlines that Lawrence Shankland does, but he's been an absolute brilliant addition to this Hearts side.
Throw in two Hearts midway inside their own half to be taken by Cochrane. Plays it to Mackay, back to Cochrane. Flynn cuts out the forward pass. It's Main for Grieve, and that's Kiltie with his first involvement, really flashing a shot well wide of goal in the end. Good few yards past Xander Clark's right hand post. He hadn't really been troubled in the game so far, Xander Clark, and certainly scoring goals is not particularly St Mirren 40, particularly on the road. I think James said seven goals away from goal.
Just 22 all season. I didn't feel as though Greg Kiltie was set to hit that on his right foot. The ball was nearer his left foot when he actually hit the shot. I also felt that Alex Grieve, who laid it off to him, should have had a pop on his left foot. It kind of sat up nicely for him, but he opted for the pass into Kiltie, and he wasn't set, and you just knew it was never going on target.
But you can see what St Mirren trying to do, you know, in terms of they're very quick to break when they do win that ball, and they're a good side, St Mirren. They're well drilled, well organised. It's just you can see that final piece of the jigsaw isn't quite there. They have to really work hard to get their goals.
Poor ball from Civic when the easier pass was there for Hill. Tried a slightly more difficult one to Smith and didn't get it right. Xander Clark comes out of his goal and clears up towards the halfway line to Gogic. Catch, is it Halliday who's gone down there? He's gone down holding his face, certainly. And the referee David Monroe just goes across to see if he requires any treatment. Lawrence Shankland there too.
Well, Gogic, you know, when you got for a header with Gogic, then you know it's going to be competitive. There's a chance you're going to get caught. From here, they're way at the opposite side of this stand, so it was very difficult to see if there was a flailing arm or an elbow. Andy Halliday insinuating that he used an elbow there. Certainly something I would never have done.
No, certainly not. Throw into Hearts is all it is. Over on the far side, Michael Smith on the halfway line, preparing to take it. 7.5 minutes until the interval. Hearts have the slender advantage given to them by Barry Mackay's 4th goal of the season. Worth catching tomorrow night on Sports Scene. There will be an online edit of tonight's game up just after midnight, I think, and also you can catch the game repeated in full this evening on BBC Alaba a bit later on. That goal well worth tuning in somewhere for.
Absolutely.
It will be a throw into St Mirren over on the far side, just pretty much in line with the 18-yard line. Richard Taylor preparing to take it. St Mirren won't be too perturbed yet at the score line. They're well in the game, albeit, as I say, not having posed too much of an issue for Xander Clark thus far. Ball pinging about in the air. Taylor pumps it forward once more. Main flicks it on. Grieve can't make much of it. Hearts pick up once more, and it's Civic out to the left hand side for Cochrane. Snodgrass demands the ball from him, about 10 yards inside his own half. Plays it to Cochrane once more down the left hand side. A couple of St Mirren players in front of him, gets it through to Mackay, but Mackay can't return it, and St Mirren have it through Gogic midway inside his own half. Tries the diagonal looking for Main. It's ambitious, and it's over Main, and Hill will just let that run out of play. It'll be a Hearts throw in over on the far side with 6 minutes to go until the interval.
There's been very little between the teams, in my opinion, Al. I mean, you talk about Xander Clark not really being worked, but I can't remember Carson and the St Mirren goal having too much to do either. There's been one moment of extreme quality, and it was that Barry Mackay goal. Out with that, it's been fairly even, in my opinion.
Throw-in taken by Hill. It has got quite a long throw-in, but he hasn't used it as a particular weapon in the opponent's half as
clutching at straws. You're clutching at straws.
St Mirren pick up possession, but through foul means, according to David Monroe, the referee. It will be a free kick to Hearts on the halfway line over on the far side. Quickly taken. As Snodgrass plays it square for Rowles, and he gets it back from Mackay. Halfway line, left hand side. Rowles forward for Mackay once more. Left touchline almost, with Bacchus in front of him. Back to Rowles. St Mirren closing down, or closing off the angles, making a forward pass difficult for the Hearts players. He's back with Clark, and now Civic for Rowles on the left hand side over the halfway line. Not a great ball forward. Shaughnessy, the captain's armband, cuts it out.
Well, you can see they're a well-drilled defensive unit. When there's any sort of backward pass from Hearts as a side, you can see the whole St Mirren unit squeeze the game collectively, and that doesn't happen by chance or by accident. It's just worked on to make sure that they are making it difficult for the opponents.
And they're making it difficult for Hearts in their own defensive thirds right now, with Gogic and Flint harrying and hassling Snodgrass and Cochrane, and they've won a throw-in on this near side, and it'll be Shaughnessy to come across and hurl it into the penalty area, you'd imagine, albeit he's gone short the last couple of times, but
he has a long throw-in though.
Yeah, he definitely has. Here it comes, about 20 yards from the corner flag into the penalty area. It comes. Mains up there. Michael Smith gets his head to it, comes back to Shaughnessy, right hand side of the box, and it comes in, and Shanklin just thrashes it away well over the halfway line. No Hearts player really forward to latch onto it, although they've made the most of it. And here's Smith, picks up possession, feeds it forward down the right channel for Shanklin to chase. He's tracked by Taylor, he's kept it in, just knocks it back away. Smith picks up once more, can't find a teammate though. Gogic is there at the edge of the box to pick up possession and gets the pass off to Tanzer, but it's won back by Smith. And here come Hearts once more as Mackay pokes out to Shanklin. Shanklin inside the penalty area. Good challenge by Taylor, sliding in to block the shot from Shanklin, and behind for a corner. It was a good defensive tackle, that one.
It was a great defensive tackle in the end for Taylor, but it was a really good break from Hearts. All starts with just a lovely round the corner ball from Snodgrass just to break the midfield of St Mirren. And then I thought that Barry Mackay had lost it. I didn't think he actually saw Snodgrass out of his corner of his eye, but he did brilliantly to slide that out to Shankland and get the strike on goal. But well defended by the St Mirren defence.
Snodgrass with the corner kick from the right hand side. He's going to ask a photographer to just budge up a wee bit so he can get the right run up for this corner kick, so he can curl it in towards the St Mirren goal. Photographer's still not in the right position as far as Robert Snodgrass is concerned. The referee in the meantime is having a word with Tanzer and Halliday in there on the edge of the 6-yard box. Snodgrass, I think, is happy enough now. Here he comes with the delivery, near post ball. It's well won again by Main. Just the spare man in there, and he's gone and commanded the area and headed clear, and Hearts pick up once more in the halfway line. It's Smith for Mackay. Mackay just inside his own half, tries the big diagonal for Cochrane. Cochrane kills it with a brilliant first touch, in on the right foot, deflected off Taylor once more, and behind for a corner, this time on the near side. Again Taylor in the right place at the right time. Good play by Cochrane.
Yeah, something that Hearts have done really well throughout this first half is the switch of play, and on that occasion it was Barry Mackay switching it out here to this left hand side for Cochrane, who took a lovely first touch, coming in his right foot. He was right to take the shot on, but Taylor again gets the block in. Another corner for St Mirren to defend.
If Hearts can just get somebody attacking that 6-yard box, Snodgrass's pinpoint with his delivery. Obviously St Mirren do very, very well blocking and stopping Hearts defenders from getting a run at it. But
I think is that the point that Hearts are making just now. The Shankland and Halliday are both protesting to the referee about something that's going on in the penalty area, and I suspect it is that blocking off the ball. That it's a yellow card for Curtis Main.
Must be for something he's said.
It's got to be, because otherwise it would be a penalty that'd be getting given right now. So it's exactly that. Curtis Main's got to have said something.
Well, the ball's not in play, so it wouldn't have been a penalty. But,
yes, Al, good. I like that, Al.
Anyway, Snodgrass lining up the corner kick from the left-hand side as the Hearts and St Mirren players vie and jockey for position inside the penalty area. David Monroe poised as well as Snodgrass swings in back post. It's Taylor who wins it this time, and then helped on by Flynn up to the halfway line where Smith collects, knocks it to the left hand side. Mackay towards the back post. Looks like there's too much on that. Carson sees it out. 45 minutes have come and gone, and we are just ticking into stoppage time with Hearts with that 1-goal advantage thanks to Barry Mackay.
Has the board been up? Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Didn't notice it. I was concentrating too much on what was going on down in this.
Here it comes now, Al.
Fourth official this evening is Graham Beaton, and he's just getting the boards ready. A couple of minutes to be added on then. We're into that already as Carson clears with the goal kick, and Halliday collects and just knocks it forward. Giannelli will chase, gets there before two St Mirren defenders, and tries to turn back inside. Was he blocked off by Declan Gallagher? He was, in the official's view, and it'll be a Hearts free kick on the right hand side, virtually on the touchline on that right hand side, about 12 yards or so from the corner flag, and a final opportunity perhaps for Hearts to extend their advantage before half time. Snodgrass again has gone across to deliver from the dead ball situation, and St Mirren will have to be on their toes here.
Yeah, this will be swung right in on top of the goalkeeper in the 6-yard line.
Well, he actually scored from a similar position, albeit not a dead ball situation to this last Saturday. In it comes, edge of the 6-yard box, breaks out to the left hand side for Giannelli. Giannelli up against Main, left foot just whacks it off Main, behind for a corner. Surely the last action of this first period. And again, Snodgrass will just trot across to the near side, the Hearts left, to send in his latest corner kick. A 2-goal advantage at half time would make such a difference to either side. St Mirren desperate to avoid that. And Snodgrass lines this one up, left-footed as always from the former Scotland international. And it comes, it's another good ball. It was Halliday who was rising but couldn't get the ball goalwards. Comes well out of the penalty area. Cochrane goes back to Smith. Smith will turn and just knock it back to Xander Clark as the half-time whistle goes at Tynecastle, and the home fans rise and applaud their side off with a 1-goal advantage, with the one moment of real class in the game so far. Wonderful move, topped off by Barry Mackay's finish a minute before half-time, a 4th goal of the season. Shanklin was denied about 15 minutes before that with a header, which is a comfortable save for Trevor Carson. At the other end, Xander Clark has had little to do, but St Mirren have been competitive and are well in the game. But at half-time at Tynecastle, it's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
The holders will fancy their chances very much of retaining their trophy.
Kilmarnock, they are heading for Hampden.
The silverware is getting closer.
Rangers make their way into the last 4. Game over is the 4th for Aberdeen. Quite a magnificent strike.
But who can go all the way in the Scottish League Cup? Catch the semi-final build-up and action with Sports Sound.
That's surely the goal that seals the deal.
There's live commentary of Celtic versus Kilmarnock tomorrow from 5:30, and Rangers versus Aberdeen kicks off Sunday at 3.
Absolutely outstanding.
The Scottish League Cup semi-finals on BBC Radio Scotland.
However, in the Premiership this evening, Hearts are leading St Mirren by 1-0 at Tynecastle. Barry Mackay with the goal, his 4th of the season. A brilliant goal it was as well. Lovely build-up play, and just what a glorious finish from Mackay. As I say, his 4th goal of the season. The second half to come right here on Sports Sound. All the reaction to come from that first 45 minutes as well. I should just tell you there's one match in the English Premier League this evening. Aston Villa are leading Leeds by 1-0. Leon Bailey on 3 minutes for Villa in that one. Right, let's get some reaction to what we've just witnessed at Tynecastle. Derek, Stephen and Michael have been watching it. It's been a good game, Derek, from a Hearts point of view. Obviously they're ahead in this one, but I tell you what, St Mirren deserve a lot of plaudits, don't they? And they've approached this game maybe a little bit differently than maybe what you were expecting. Is that fair to say?
Well, to be honest with you, Jane, I thought Hearts would start quick and fast, get the crowd going. Obviously we always speak about the atmosphere, but I think St Mirren started the game better. Certainly the first 15 minutes, a couple of opportunities as well. Main and Bacchus with shots, maybe lacking in quality, but still had those shots, still had those opportunities, and it wasn't until what was it, 17th minute before Hearts really get going. It was a Shanklin header. I think Hearts have been a little bit slow, a little bit pedestrian in their build-up play, apart from a couple of diagonals, certainly from Snodgrass. I think the last one was Barry Mackay. That switch of play and just doing things that a little bit quicker, and then the delivery into the box, it's caused St Mirren a few problems. But I thought St Mirren were really comfortable in the game. They concede possession, but they're comfortable in doing that. The stats, you come up with a stat, didn't you? It was like 73% possession.
Well, apparently, according to our stats on the BBC website, and who am I to question them, but Hearts in possession-wise 74%, St Mirren 26%, which just seems ludicrous to me. I don't think there's that much in the game.
It didn't feel like that, Jane, but the difference, I think St Mirren, when they get possession of the ball, they break quick. I think Michael spoke about it during commentary, and I think that's what we do. And at times when they're trying to break quickly, there's a tendency to lose possession of the ball, but they have created chances. I think they've had more shots on target than Hearts, but the goal that separates them, it was a real moment of quality. We all know Barry Mackay, he's got that in his locker. It was,
the build-up play was brilliant as well.
It was
lovely on
I think the beauty of it looked easy, and it wasn't easy because it was a lovely ball into Shanklin. The layoff's excellent, and then when the ball goes to Halliday, and Halliday he's got 2 options on, and I think he does really well. I don't think he looks to play into the wide area. I think he's just waiting on Barry Mackay and just that. And I know it's only a little 2-3 yard pass, but to have that composure, just to lay into his stride. And with Barry Mackay, he doesn't look for power, he just passes it into the back of the net, just picks his spot, and it was just that one moment of quality for me that separates the teams.
And with that pass from Halliday, is that because he knows Barry Mackay really well, the relationship is there, that he just knows he's going to be on the end of that? Absolutely,
and I think even with Andy, he's played in that position, he scored many goals himself, coming onto the ball, so I think it was just he was just waiting, and he just releases the ball at the perfect time, just as Barry comes into that position, into his stride, and just lays it perfectly. So he doesn't have to adjust himself. He just knows, I don't need to go for power here. I'm just going to pick my spot away from it, curling away from the keeper, and it was just a beautiful goal.
Yeah, it really was. It would have been a goal, Stephen Thompson. You would have been very proud to get on the end off, would you not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever popped off 2 1-2s and curled one in at the angle. Put it in the box, I'll score you a header. But no, it was a sensational goal, and Derek's right. It's the one moment of real quality in that first half that separates the team, and it's a goal worthy of that. I have to give St Mirren an awful lot of credit for the way that they played
absolutely.
in that first half. I think they've carried a threat at times without really working Xander Clark. That's maybe the one thing that they've not managed to do, but they've had a few efforts wide ago with a couple of shots. They've forced the issue. I feel as though Alex Grieve and Curtis Main are doing a power of work up front, and they've at times linked the play well, held the ball up well. In the middle of the park, there was a spell where St Mirren were dominating in central areas, but Hearts have... Yeah, Mikey mentioned the word tempo, and I think that's probably something that Robbie Neilson will be looking for in the second half. It's just to lift that tempo a wee bit more. At times it has been a wee bit slow in the build-up. However, they have utilised the switch of play very well in the first half, especially from right to left, out to this left-hand side under the stand that we're in. For Cochrane, who's put in a couple of really dangerous deliveries. Shankland, he's worked away hard, he's linked the play up well. He probably should have done better with the header he had at the back post, but it's been so tight. I don't think Stephen Robinson will be, having harsh words in there at half time despite being 1-0 down. There's not a lot you can do. You put your hands up and say the quality was just superb with the goal. Out with that, there's not really been too much for Carson to do. Carson's not had too many saves to make either. It's not been a game of big opportunities, and that's not to say it's been dull to watch. I've actually enjoyed watching the first half. It's been an interesting first half, and St Mirren are still very much in the mix. What they need to make sure is that they don't concede the next goal.
There's no doubt that the scoreline's 1-0. It tells you that the game is there for St Mirren to get back into it. But look, Hearts are the better side in the first half. They deserve to be in front, and I thought as the half wore on, they started to increase the tempo. They started to get a foothold in the middle of the park. As Tom was talking about there, I mentioned probably about 20 minutes in that I don't think Robbie would have been too disappointed, but he would have been looking for more. They needed to get a bit of injection of pace and intensity into their game, and I thought they started to do better in the second half of that first period of the game, and I think Hearts deserve to be in front. Yes, they didn't pepper the goal of Trevor Carson, but there was in and around, there was, you think about the one at the end where there's a lovely reverse ball from Mackay to Shanklin. Taylor comes in with a block. Shanklin's header at the back post. Cochrane's fizz one across the face that nobody got on the end of. Number of corner kicks that are almost there. But St Mirren are a well-drilled defensive unit. They are difficult to break down. They close the spaces down very well. They make it difficult for the opposition when they're in possession, and when they do pick up the ball, they've countered quickly. The problem for St Mirren has been, and it's the story of the season so far, when you look at the number of goals that they've been able to score, they don't come by goals very easily. It feels like they've got to create or...
Yeah, well, Mark O'Hara's their top scorer, and he's got 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a midfielder.
And I'd imagine there's a couple of them are penalty kicks as well, possibly.
Yeah, maybe. But, yeah, I mean, it just shows you, reiterates the point.
The point that it feels like they get to that final third pretty well, but then it's lacking that little bit of guile or creativity or X factor. But certainly in terms of as a unit, they're a well-drilled side and they are difficult to break down.
Do you think... Michael talks about the lack of tempo from Hearts at the start, Derek. Do you think maybe they were surprised at the way St Mirren started the game? Because we were expecting them to be defensively solid, but they had a goal.
There's no doubt about it. St Mirren get after you. It gets to a point, where it's round about the halfway line. There's little triggers where they go once one of the players go, they all go, and that's what Michael telling you about how good they work as a unit. You can see that's worked on without a shadow of doubt. For me, Hearts, they get the goal, and it's a brilliant goal, but it's the speed of play, it's the one touch, and that's what you've got when you've got good players, that can do the 1 and 2 touch in the final third. That's where the real quality comes from, and I think that's where as much as they're a good unit, they're a good solid team, St Mirren, they don't possess that quality in the final third. You know, and the reason that you get that quality, sometimes it comes down to finances. You know, and as we know at the moment, St Mirren have not got that. You know, but that's how you certainly I tip my cap to them, because they all buy into the way Stevie Robinson sets them up. You know, and that can be hard as a player, but they know that they're no pushovers. That's for sure. But they're still in this game, so you can't deny them that. And you know, it's been a good watch. But I think at home, certainly from a Hearts perspective, I watched it in Europe a couple of times. I said to you, Jane, when we're watching the first half, they've done it in Europe a couple of times where they started slow. I think you need to get that crowd behind you, you know, and sometimes do things a little bit quicker. I like the diagonals the boys are talking about, because they worked a treat to Cork in that wide left area. But sometimes you need to get the crowd going, get.
Well, actually, let's ask the boys who are at the ground. What is the atmosphere like? Because sometimes when you're studio, you don't really get the atmosphere coming through. But is it a raucous atmosphere, would you say, or is it a little bit more toned down than that, Michael?
Well, the difficulty is when you're sitting here and you've
got the headphones on. You could be sitting in the quietest stadium ever, and it sounds like the atmosphere is brilliant. So I mean, it's certainly packed.
It sounded noisy to me, but it's difficult to say with these headphones.
Did you guys notice the Mark O'Hara injury at all, to see what happened to him? No.
Didn't see a thing.
Next thing, we just saw him hobbling up the tunnel, to be honest with you.
And actually, he actually hobbled off the tunnel in quick fashion, didn't he? He didn't waste any time hanging around. So
he's obviously had an injury.
Brian McLaughlin, as we speak, as you know, will be endeavouring to find out what the latest is with that situation.
He's too busy man-marking Craig Gordon.
He's had his interview with Craig. He can move away. From the goalkeeper now. Right, what do St Mirren have to do in the second half, Michael? You think obviously they have to find that finishing touch. Stephen Thompson, not hard to come by though, if you look at the previous record away from home. But how do they ensure that they get that?
They need to just make sure they continue playing the way they were playing in the first half, and I think Tom will touch on it. The second goal is going to be huge. If they fall 2 behind, I think you could say it's game over. But if they're able to keep the game at 1-0, anything is possible.
Yeah.
All you need is a set play, something to fall your way that you can find a goal from. But if you're thinking St Mirren are just going to magic up, something along the lines of what we've seen from Hearts, the chances of that are very slim.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, you just need to look at St Mirren's 8 away games this season. They failed to score in 4 of those games, and that, more than anything, has been the reason that their away form has not bared fruit in terms of getting victories, just the one this season. But yeah, I mean, they do miss a wee bit of quality or killer instinct in that final third. I think they looked most dangerous when they were getting early on balls into the box, and if you put a ball in the box, then Curtis Main and Alex Grieve have got a chance of getting on the end of it. That's something I think that they need to do more, is try and get the ball worked into wide areas, get early crosses in, and ask questions of the Hearts defence. Because
the thing is as well, when you're throwing balls into the box, if you're doing it early enough, you've got defenders potentially facing their own goal. Something can happen there.
Yep.
The defender can miss-hit it, can go in his back of the net, he can attempt to clear it and not clear it particularly well, and then it drops at a St Mirren player's foot. Bacchus in the midfield has got good timing as well. You always feel like he's in and around the box. If you're getting those breaks done quickly enough and getting enough bodies into the box, that's it's not rocket science. Those are the sorts of things that are going to potentially be the most fruitful for St Mirren, is balls into the box, as Thomas said, early, and getting bodies in there.
Yeah, well, as we speak, the Hearts players are just coming out onto the pitch. St Mirren actually been kept waiting for a couple of minutes. Obviously, Hearts just taking advantage. It's our home. We'll come out when we want to. Thank you very much indeed. Let's see what the second half brings, shall we? In this one, the whole of the second half coming up live here on Sports Sound. Commentary from Michael Stephen, and back to Alistair Lamont again.
Thanks again, Jane. Yeah, Hearts will kick us off in the second half. No changes from them and no further changes from St Mirren after the enforced change, which saw Greg Kiltie replace Mark O'Hara with that injury in the first half. So Hearts looking to at least maintain, if not extend, their 1-goal advantage in this second period. St Mirren looking to claw it back. There are 6 games unbeaten, both of them. Last time St Mirren had a longer top flight unbeaten run in a single season was way back in 88-89. So if they're able to get something from this game that would match that, which is quite phenomenal. As Hearts come forward then, going from left to right as we look at it from the back of the Wheatfield stand in this second period, and Captain Lon Shankland buys the side a throw-in over on the far side, the Hearts left. Mackay will just leave that to Cochrane. Back it goes to Rowles, and back further midway inside his own half. It's Toby Civic out to this near side. And it's James Hill, who's had a pretty solid, composed opening 45 minutes on his Hearts debut.
Absolutely.
He hasn't played a lot of football of late, hasn't really played for Bournemouth this season at all, apart from a couple of League Cup appearances, but he's looked the part. There's great skill from Barry Mackay going down the left hand side into the penalty area. It comes, shocked to see in the way to get it clear. Ginnelly picks up in the clearance, left hand side, running at the St Mirren back line, almost at the goal line. Picks out Barry Mackay just outside the penalty area. Halliday touches it off, looking to play in Snodgrass. Snodgrass just couldn't quite gather it, but Hearts looking positive at the start of this second period.
That was a bright bit of play from Hearts, but I just felt when Ginnelly got into that corner, he should have been putting the ball into the box early. You know, everything we've just been talking about with St Mirren, the same applies to Hearts. When you get into those areas, you want to be getting the ball across the face of the goal early. You know, Barry Mackay did it about 10 seconds before. He didn't manage to pick anybody out, but it just causes a bit of panic.
Ginnelly's one of these wide players that's frustrating as a striker, because you're counting on your movement, looking at the wide player, thinking he's going to put it in, so you make your first movement, and then he doesn't, and then he delays, and you've got to then try and find a way to get yourself free from the defender again. He doesn't release the ball quickly enough for me when he does get into the final third. I'd like to see him put the ball in earlier.
Here he is in possession, left hand side, neat little skip away from Shaughnessy, tries to go beyond Gogic, but Gogic just stands up, and Ginnelly just ran into him. It was like running into a brick wall by the looks of it, and St Mirren break down the left hand side now. It's Kiltie up against Smith, lays it back for Tanser. Tanser midway inside the Hearts half, left hand side. Halliday comes to meet him. Gogic now back the way to Taylor, who, like Hill, has had a pretty decent first start for his side. A couple of very important blocks in that first half, and it's now with Trevor Carson. Carson will go long, looking for Main making a nuisance of himself as always up against Rowles. He's done well, lays it off to Flynn. 25 yards from goal, sends it into the penalty area. Hill with a good header, clear. Flynn tries to return it. It's Grieve now, edge of the box. Snodgrass is there though. Grieve battling away, but he's fouled. Snodgrass in the view of the referee. Grieve makes his protests known to the referee.
Quite right too. It's a nonsense decision. Really, for me, it was the complete opposite way about. I felt it was wrong.
You thought that was a free kick to St Mirren?
I did. Alistair, are you going to referee this?
I thought it was pretty much 50-50. I didn't think there was much in it either way, but referee deciding in the home side's favour. I certainly didn't think it was a free kick to St Mirren, no. Ball's played long by Hill, but it'll be all the way through to Trevor Carson. 3.5 minutes of the second half played, no further goals. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Barry Mackay with an outstanding goal just before the half-hour mark, splits the sides right now. Here's Taylor on the left-hand side for St Mirren. On ball forward, looking for Grieve, just over him. Civic feels he has to deal with it though, rather than let it run through to Xander Clark, which might have been an option.
Well, he should have let it go through to Xander Clark, but he can't do that if he's not got any communication from his goalkeeper, because anybody could have been making that run behind him.
Yeah, he's relying on Xander Clark to let him know, and seemingly he didn't. Anyway, Hearts have a throw-in now on the far side, the Hearts left, just about 18 yards away from their corner flag. Cochrane looking to take it. Hearts' only defeat in their last 9 was the 1-0 defeat at Ibrox. And It's out for a throw now to St Mirren. In fact, has it been given as a foul throw? Looks like it has. St Mirren will have the throw in now in the very spot where Alex Cochrane took his.
That's what I mean. Foul shies could literally be given almost every time. It's incredible how often players lift their feet off the ground or don't put the ball behind their head.
Last Sunday at Tannadice, where Aziz Behich was continually not penalised for him. Long one comes in. His back is inside the penalty area. Can't get through. Oh, it's a bad tackle on Snodgrass. That is a poor challenge from Bacchus, who has already been booked. Yep. I mean,
I think the referee, when he blew his whistle, I think initially it certainly felt, I don't know why he was walking back the way. I feel as if he was actually going to pull a card and then perhaps just thought and took a moment, bought himself a bit of time.
Well, what Bacchus should have done before that foul is lay the ball off to the edge of the box. He took a reasonable first touch from the long throw in that was headed clear. He took a touch. There was two St Mirren players at the edge of the box. Just lay it off, let them have a shot, but he tried to wriggle his way into the box and eventually get the ball taken off him.
Well, St Mirren have had players sent off in each of the last 3 games, and if Keanu Bacchus had been shown a second yellow card there, I don't think he could have had too many complaints. From the view we had of the challenge on Snodgrass, Michael Smith tries to play the ball in. It looked to perhaps come off the arm of Tanser. That was the view of the crowd here, certainly not the referees. It will be a Hearts corner instead. Stephen, remember that you're supposed to be unbiased when you're doing this commentary.
To be fair, it would have been a ludicrous handball, because I don't think he pulled his arm out, but no. It's nothing would surprise me when it comes to that.
The pass out from Snodgrass again,
brilliant.
Sensational.
Here he is lining up the corner kick from the right hand side. An in-swinger incoming from Snodgrass to the back post. It's Main back there once again, winning the header unchallenged, as it turned out. Ginnelly picks up just outside the penalty area, left hand side for Hearts. 52 minutes played at Tynecastle, 1-0 Hearts lead, as Cochrane on the right foot tries to send the ball in. Gets that a little bit wrong, but Shanklin will pick up possession. He goes down under pressure from Gogic. Gogic just getting too close to him. Shanklin was being clever there, using his experience, and gets aside a free kick, which Robert Snodgrass will gratefully take. Just about 8 yards in from the right touch line.
Silly from
about 35 yards from goal.
He's going nowhere there, Lawrence Shankland. He's going away from goal. Gogic should be more experienced in that to give that foul away.
Snodgrass swings it in onto the penalty spot. It's Gogic this time who gets his head to the ball to get it clear.
You were going to say Main for a second.
I was just making sure.
You were like the referee, you were just buying yourself an extra wee second there.
Yeah, but I got the decision right. Here's Barry Mackay on the left hand side for Hearts. Civic plays it out to the near side to James Hill, halfway line. Tries to go over the top, but Shankland hadn't made that move, and it's I think he just to tidy it up.
I think he just mishit it. I think he was trying to wrap it in on the deck and just got under it and lofted it over the players he was actually trying to find.
Main trying to make life difficult for Rowles, but Rowles wins that aerial battle. Mackay looking to take on Gallagher, and Gallagher just stepped across him. He's clearly struggling there, Gallagher. Shanklin tries to play the 1-2 with Snodgrass, and it's just seen it to play. But there's a yellow card for Declan Gallagher. Well,
the referee's played that fine,
Yeah.
You could quite clearly see that Barry Mackay was always going to get round him and get onto the ball, so absolutely spot on from the referee to let the game flow and play, because Mackay was bursting in behind him into a huge space.
Did he do enough to warrant a yellow, Declan Gallagher?
Do you know what? It just looked so bad
because he was so slow. You mean?
No, but it looked. It was so clear what he was trying to do, even though he didn't actually.
He didn't impede him that much. He still got past them.
Even though he didn't actually manage to impede him, as you say. I think the fact that it looked so bad,
it was obvious,
that he was going to get pulled up for it.
That's Gallagher playing a long diagonal, looking for Grieve, but Hill watches it all the way and then manages to get it clear.
He's done well so far, Hill, and the thing that he brings and what Hearts are desperately need is a little bit of a imposing character, physicality. Defensively without Halkett in the side, they don't have that. Kai Rowles, everything I've said about him in terms of being a really good addition, he's not an imposing character, and you see the likes of Curtis Main, he would enjoy playing against the likes of Rolls. And Civic, he can get ragdolled off strikers at times as well. So they need that.
There's Shanklin up against Taylor. Taylor does really well there.
Really good defending.
Because Shanklin might have been set free there, but Taylor got back and made a really important intervention. Just going back to Declan Gallagher, he's had a back problem which forced him to miss the game on Saturday against Hearts, and you have to assume he's still struggling with it, the way he was moving.
Yeah, he's not moved well all match, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's probably. I mean, I do think it might be interesting if Brian can ask Stephen Robinson after the game, but it does look to me like he's probably out there.
Well, he's had to take one for the team because of the suspensions and injuries, so you've got to give him credit for that.
But he was struggling there up against Barry Mackay. He's now on a yellow card, and here comes Cochrane running at him. It's good play by Cochrane. Taylor gets it clear, back to Cochrane, and over the top from Andy Halliday. It sat up nicely for Andy Halliday, but he just leaned back as he took the shot from 16 yards and scooped it over the crossbar. That was a good chance for Hearts to add to their advantage, but as it stands, 56 minutes in, it's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
It was great play from Cochrane.
Yeah,
he attacked the defence brilliantly. I think Andy Halliday was probably just caught on his heels a little bit as the ball came to him, hence why he's leaned back and stuck it over the crossbar. But you're right, it was certainly a very, very good chance for Hearts to double their lead.
Alex Cochrane's really improving by the game, it appears. Been linked, I noticed in various papers of late, with a number of clubs: Southampton, QPR, Coventry, Bologna, Verona, you name it, and he's really enjoying himself, Alex Cochrane, having made the permanent move from Brighton in the summer. Here he is in possession once more, picked up by Mackay. He runs into bother though, and St Mirren pick up, and it's Grieve back to Flynn just inside his own half. Now Gallagher about 15 yards inside St Mirren territory. Forward for Kilty, infield for Gogic, still in the halfway line, plays it square for Tanzer, left hand side. Tanzer slides it forward into the feet of Main. He's got Civic with him, knocks it back though to Gogic. Gogic fires it out to the right hand side. It's a good ball for Flynn. Gallagher looks to move on the outside of him, but the ball comes into the penalty area, headed away by the Hearts defence. Flynn picks up once more on the right hand side. Now it's Shaughnessy. Gallagher's still up there, but he's giving the ball away to Cochrane, and now Hearts can come forward on the counter. Shanklin has Ginnelly up with him. Can he find him? Ginnelly now, edge of the penalty area. Taylor comes sliding in, breaks back to Ginnelly. Ginnelly with a shot in the left foot, can't get hold of the shot, and it's tame and into the arms of Trevor Carson, and it's still Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Oh, that's a good. I think that's a
challenge.
I thought it was a good one.
Snodgrass.
I thought it was a good one, but you knew straight away. Just nowadays, he just came right into the tackle. Do you know what? I mean, seeing it play out in real time, my fear was that the referee's just going to pull out the red card.
I thought that for a second, Mikey. It's the speed in which Robert Snodgrass goes into the tackle.
Yeah.
I couldn't see if he was high or not, but he certainly won the ball. But he comes into at a furious pace.
Yeah.
He's just obviously had his card marked from Bacchus' challenge there earlier on when Bacchus fouled him. But that was a ferocious tackle from Robert Snodgrass. Yeah, I mean, the ref was quick over, and you're looking to see which card he was going to pull out. Bacchus is alright. I mean, I think he wins the ball quite cleanly, but it's just the speed.
Cochrane's down on the far side.
Yeah, he's been down for the last
but I tell you,
few seconds.
Taylor again.
He's doing well, eh?
Brilliant defending, because that was. Yes, you think Ginnelly could have possible red card getting checked. I just think Ginnelly, he could have perhaps got his first touch a little bit closer and got the shot away quicker, but Taylor came across brilliantly.
Yeah, well, the challenge by Robert Snodgrass has been checked, and
was he going? No, he's not.
I thought he was going to the screen for a second, but I think he's just going across to see what's wrong with Alex Cochrane, who is being treated by the Hearts physio. Yeah, I mean, the Snodgrass challenge, it's full-blooded. He takes the ball first, but it's so, I mean, he's going at such pace, such ferocity, that he takes plenty of Bacchus on the follow-through.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how high his foot was, which we couldn't see from this particular angle. It's the sort of challenge 20 years ago wouldn't even be sniffed at.
I don't understand why it needs to be, communicated and looked upon when you have a player down, Alex Cochrane. The game's not starting. Why was it having to be, communicated that up the street there's a red card being checked? Just check it. It's obviously been looked at and decided it's not. Look at it silently.
Cochrane's going to be replaced. Quickly to Derek Ferguson in the studio, who has had a look back at that challenge from Robert Snodgrass. What's your view, Derek?
Yeah, I've had a look at it a couple of times, and to me it's a good honest challenge. Certainly takes the ball, and I just think it's the way it kind of ricochets off Bacchus, it goes into a different area of the park. But that is a good honest challenge. Yeah, you can talk about force and the speed, but you've got to tackle. The ball's there to be won. I think it was a fair challenge.
It's Cam Devlin who's come on for Cochrane as St Mirren tried to come forward in search of an equaliser. Just over the hour mark now, and the game's still very much in the balance. Here comes St Mirren on the edge of the penalty area. Comes to Kiltie, gets it all wrong, high into the stand at the school end of Tynecastle, and way over Xander Clark's crossbar, and it remains Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
He's right to take it on. It's set up really nicely for him. Hearts kind of struggled to get the ball clear. It fell to him possibly 20 yards out. He hits it on the volley, just gets right underneath it and scoops it high over the bar.
That change for Hearts, Michael, Andy Halliday just going out to the left hand side now, Devlin in the centre of the park.
To be honest, Halliday's played there on so many occasions for Hearts. It's not going to do anything to disrupt the system or flow.
That's when he becomes an important player for Hearts, because of his versatility, isn't it?
No, unquestionably. And Cammy Devlin coming out in the middle of the park is important because, as we've said at half time, as long as the game's sitting 1-0, St Mirren are going to have belief and confidence that they'll be able to get something out of this game, and the middle of the park is key because it's a right battle in there.
Bacchus battling away with Shanklin. Hearts still have possession. Snodgrass just touches it back to Civic, who's just outside his own penalty area. Yeah, it's been played. It's been a good contest, certainly, and St Mirren still will believe they can get back into the game, back onto level terms, as Mackay has it on the left hand side, lays it back to Snodgrass. First time ball flicked on by Devlin into the path of Halliday. Halliday to bustle his way through, and it's Flynn who was just trying to see it out of play and then goes to ground, and as you so often see, with a slight touch from the attacking player, the free kick is given against the attacker, who in that case was Andy Halliday, and St Mirren have the free kick, which is quickly taken up towards Grieve. Match there by Hill, and now it's Smith for Snodgrass, who just touches it back to Hill and says, let's just slow things down slightly just now. Civic plays it out to the left hand side for Rowles. Rowles up to the halfway line for Halliday, now playing in that left wing back role, which, as Mikey says, is one that he's occupied several times, not only as a wing back but as a full back, and he has shown his versatility. With Hearts having so many injuries this season, it's been vital for them. As the ball goes out of play over on the far side, shocked as he thought the throw-in was his, but the officials say otherwise. Hearts will have the throw-in on the more or less in the halfway line over on the far side, to be taken by Halliday. 63 on the clock. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Halliday goes back the way to Rowles, and now Civic out to this near side to Hill, just inside his own half, thinking about that big switch of play again, and he picks out Halliday with a pinpoint pass right onto the chest of Halliday over on the far side, now picked up by Mackay midway inside the St Mirren half. Tries to go between a couple of St Mirren defenders, but it's Flynn who gets the important challenge in, and St Mirren have possession, and it's Gogic leading the charge over the halfway line into the feet of Grieve, who's got time to get turned. Hearts will get players back, but it comes out to the left hand side to Tanzer into the penalty area. Civic gets his head to it, can't get it fully clear though. Kiltie picks up, just nudges it now out to the right hand side to Flynn. Flynn into the penalty area, Snodgrass away, only as far as Kiltie, who lashes another one over the bar. A lot closer this time to hitting the target, but still a yard or two too high, and it remains Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Robbie will be a wee bit concerned here, because Hearts have become wasteful when they've been getting into the final third, and that's another shot that's drifting over the crossbar. You can't just rely on the fact that St Mirren are going to be
wasteful
or shot shy or goal shy when they get into that final third, because, as we've already spoken about on numerous occasions, anything can happen. a ricochet, a deflection, poor bit of play that opens up, a golden opportunity to St Mirren. And Hearts need to lift their game again a little bit. They've just started to drift.
A wee bit of nervousness come into them.
Yep.
I mean, that was a good chance for Kilty on his left foot, probably about 16 yards out. He was set, he had time, but again, just leaning back and lifted it over the bar.
Well, that's the thing about big home crowds, isn't it? They can work in a couple of different ways, and sometimes things can get a little bit edgy, and there's that expectation now amongst the Hearts fans that they will not just turn up and win, but the likelihood is that they will win. So when it's in the balance, they will get a little bit frustrated potentially.
I'm not so... I totally understand what you're saying, Al, but I'm not so sure that that's the case here. I just think that their performance level has dropped a little bit here, and they need to regain a bit of control.
Here they are, coming forward, left-hand side, Josh Ginnelly up against Gallagher, infield he comes. Mackay lets it go to Devlin, Devlin takes on the shot again, it's Taylor who's in the way. Breaks out to Snodgrass, out to the right-hand side it comes, and it's Michael Smith, back to Snodgrass. Midway inside the St Mirren half, now Hill. Plays it short to Rowles, out on the left-hand side is Halliday. Halliday with a bit of space, out comes Flynn to meet him. The cross is headed away by Gallagher. Rowles picks up the loose ball.
That's poor. When it's gone to the wide areas, or when they've been trying to play it into the front men and their feet. I mean, look, it's difficult because St Mirren are, they're compact, but they need to do better. It allows them then to be able to build that game in the final third.
It's good play from Devlin and then Smith to find Snodgrass. Snodgrass for Mackay. Mackay has Halliday outside him. Halliday slides and knocks the ball out of play when he had time to take a touch and measure across, and it goes behind harmlessly for a goal kick to St Mirren, who are about to make a couple of changes. Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of changes made. Number 15 Dylan Reid is going to be coming on. It looks like, I'm not quite sure who it is, Al. Number 21 Alex Grieve is being replaced. Also coming on, number 15, so Dylan Reid is coming on.
Everything okay, Brian?
Number 7, yes, I think so, yeah. Number 17, Keanu Bacchus is coming off as well. So, yeah, 2 changes made by St Mirren.
Was David Hill involved?
David Hill wasn't involved. You'd be delighted to hear. It does get a bit messy down here with so many substitutions.
Thanks, Brian. Sterling work down there as always from Brian McLaughlin, our pitchside reporter.
Good to see young Dylan Reid getting an opportunity on the pitch. Needs to get more game time in a first team shirt. Very highly thought of, the youngster, and a younger coming back to fitness again. He'd struck up a really good partnership with Curtis Main.
Yeah, a younger on for the closing quarter of the match.
No surprise that he's getting put on, because you can see that physicality that Curtis Main's got. Well, it's just been doubled with a younger going on, and St Mirren will just be looking to pepper that box with balls thrown in.
Neat turn on the edge of the box, lays it back to Gogic. Out to the right hand side, it's Flynn. Flynn sends it into the penalty area, takes a little deflection and breaks kindly for Michael Smith. And behind both Ayunga and Main, and Smith just knocks it clear down the right hand side. Poor touch from Shanklin, allows Shockley to step across him and sees it out of play. It will be a St Mirren throw in. We've played 68 minutes and it's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Ayunga and Reid on, as you're saying, Tom, just a 4th appearance of the season for Dylan Reid.
Very talented young midfielder, but I always feel you've got to get minutes under your belt, so this will do him the world of good.
He was heavily linked with Celtic in the
was.
summer, and that move broke down. I think Dylan Reid himself decided, by all accounts, that St Mirren was maybe a better place for the time being to learn his trade, but first team action has been hard to come by for the 17-year-old. Here he is at Tynecastle for the closing 20 minutes or so, with Bacchus certainly running a tightrope. Could have been shown a second yellow card for a poor challenge on Snodgrass.
This has been a poor second half performance from Hearts. Alright, they've had a couple of sniffs, but really I think they've been slack in possession. I think in the final third things are breaking down far too easily, and now you can feel it feeding off the crowd. There's a nervousness crept into the stadium.
Well, I was just going to say that not so much in terms of St Mirren raising the level of the game, but this feels like as close as St Mirren have been to being able to get something from this game at this stage. And it is exactly like Tomo says. I think it's down to the fact that Hearts' performance level has dropped and they desperately need to lift it again.
There's a yellow card shown to Robbie Nielsen there. I think he was protesting about where the free kick from St Mirren was being taken from. In it comes to the area. Xander Clark comes to punch. Tanzer tries to return it. Gets his kick all wrong, but he manages to pick up the loose ball. Ginnelly though back there to nick it off him. Michael Smith deep in his own territory gets it to Hill, who just knocks it clear up to the halfway line. And Taylor, for the second time in the game, he's had a good game. That's the second time he's gone back to Trevor Carson.
It tells me, Alistair, he's not confident on the ball, because the harder pass was the pass square out to his other centre half. He goes all the way back and takes a safe option. Don't get me wrong, he's defended very, very well tonight.
It's because he's so heavily left-footed. Problem was his first touch was quite close to his body. It shut down his passing angles.
Good play by Ayunga as Hearts give away possession. Ayunga up to the edge of the penalty, goes for goal, and it clips the outside of the post, and it took a deflection on its way through, and it will be a St Mirren corner. But Ayunga showing within a couple of minutes of coming on just how dangerous he can be. St Mirren corner.
I'm really not sure what Michael Smith was trying to do. He's caught up the park, he's trying to nutmeg somebody, and it was never on. And then there's a gaping hole down that right hand side, and Ayunga does brilliant. You know, he spins Hill, does really well, and then drives right at the box.
I didn't see a deflection.
No, I didn't either actually, Tom, but
I'm presuming Xander Clark's got a nick.
Maybe. Here's Flynn with the corner, left hand side, deep one. Xander Clark comes, doesn't get anywhere near it. The header comes in, and it's just going to be a goal kick. Xander Clark came into a ruck of bodies and hit the deck. The Main's header came in, but it was off target, and it remains Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Big chance.
You can feel the momentum is building for St Mirren here, and it's a dangerous scoreline.
It is. I mean, the delivery in was good. Xander Clark got his kind of positioning wrong. He's trying to claw out there. It lands at Curtis Main's head. For me, he's got to just get that back across goal. He's got to get it on target or back into the danger area over the bar. It's no use to anybody.
Surprised there's no more substitutions being made from Hearts.
Yeah, they've certainly got good attacking options on the bench, but Robbie Nielsen has only made that one enforced change with Alex Cochrane going off.
I think Humphreys, when he's been coming on, in the last few games, has made a real impact.
Yeah,
he's got good energy as well, and it feels like that's what's needed. It feels like
Snodgrass has slipped. Gogic could be in
here. It's a foul all day long. He's grabbed him back, and by the way, Gogic, that's a yellow card. That is a yellow card. And when you think about previously, Gogic has lamped a couple of folk in this game. And that is incredible how he's not.
Are you sure Robert Snodgrass just didn't get his pass right?
He pulled him back.
All right.
That was a foul all day long. I mean, it's astonishing that he's not been yellow carded for that. Maybe the guys in the studio have seen it better, but for me that was quite clear.
I didn't know it's a massive pull, I have to say. I thought Snodgrass had slipped, but certainly the referee was quick to blow his whistle to stop Gogic, whose shot was blocked in any case. But regardless, this game is still in the balance. Hearts' lead is a precarious one. They haven't been nearly as good in the second period. They do lead by a goal to nil with 17 minutes of the 90 remaining. Here's Devlin, the substitute. Shankland, that's better, isn't it? Into Smith. Smith knocks it back to Snodgrass. Snodgrass out to the left hand side for Halliday, who chests it and then gets the cross into the penalty area. It's not a great one. It's knocked away by Reid. Picked up by Snodgrass, who finds Devlin. Devlin into the feet of Shankland, tries to flick it backwards, and easily mopped up by Trevor Carson.
It was the right idea. It was the right idea because Devlin had just nicked the ball. No. Why is the ref just not playing it on?
I think Trevor Carson was impeded when he kicked it. Oh, you mean St Mirren had possession?
St Mirren had the ball.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And by the way, I don't think Cammy Devlin had. Yes, I think he ran, but it wasn't as if he was running to impede the goal. I just think it just so happened the two of them had crossed paths. St Mirren had the ball. Just let them play on.
Main wins the flick on, then Ayunga back heels it. Kelty picks up Gogic now midway inside the Hearts half, out to the left hand side. Tanzer tries to send it to the back post. Main beaten in the air by Rowles. That's a good contest. Speaks to Devlin out to the right hand side for Smith. It's a really intriguing last 16 minutes in prospect with the Hearts desperate to add to their advantage, to just give themselves and the fans a little bit of comfort in the game, because as it is, St Mirren are going to push them all the way to the final whistle.
They've got to make some subs at the top end of the park. I mean, I think Michael Smith should have been playing the ball down the line, but Ginnelly had to be making that run a little bit quicker as well. Instead he turns back, and playing that backwards pass, as we've already seen, that is just an invitation for St Mirren to squeeze the game. They have to have the ability to be able to turn and penetrate St Mirren, and those balls down the side are the easiest way to do that, to relieve a little bit of pressure.
It was shocked to see for St Mirren. Into Gogic just inside his own half, back to Taylor. Taylor comes forwards up to the halfway line now. Taylor looks to send it up towards Ayunga, but it's Kilty actually who wins the flick on for Ayunga. He just, bit of a heavy touch there for Flynn. Flynn challenged by Mackay at the expense of a corner, and St Mirren will throw all the big men forward.
See, it's simple. You've got Main, Ayunga, big guys there, but on that occasion it's Kilty that's winning the ball ahead of Kai Rogers. He's got to do better on those moments.
St Mirren corner then, right hand side. Tanzer, left footage, swings it in. Gogic was up there, so too was Taylor. Neither of them could direct the ball goalwards, and it's behind for a Hearts goal kick. But
they kind of almost get in each other's way in the end there. I mean, it was a decent ball in. They both jumped for it here. You're going to get some Hearts subs now, make it.
Brian McLaughlin can tell us who they are.
Yeah, a couple of changes coming. Stephen Humphreys is going to be the first player, I believe, coming on the board up. Indeed, it's going to be Garang Cole who's also coming on. Barry Mackay is the first player to be replaced. Cole was up warming up, he just sauntered by. I'm not quite sure how keen he is to actually come on. Anyway, he's going to be coming on for the last 14 minutes. Stephen Humphreys also coming on for the last 14-15 minutes or so. The board just about ready to go up. Stephen Humphreys ready to come on. The board now will be very surprised if it's not Josh Ginnelly. It is indeed Josh Ginnelly who's being replaced. So Ginnelly is off, as is Barry Mackay. Stephen Humphreys and Garang Cole making his debut for Hearts this evening.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Hearts debut then for the young Newcastle player, Australian international Garang Cole, 18 years old. Looks to have a very bright future in the game, and the Hearts fans getting their first glimpse of him in a maroon jersey this evening. And well, he couldn't have asked for a stiffer test in his first introduction to Scottish football, as his side looked to try and hold on to this slender advantage for the final 13 minutes here.
Well, they need an out ball. They need something that's going to be able to get them up the park and further away from their own goal. And I'm no surprise that there's been a couple of substitutions made at the top end of the park.
Alexander Clark clears up to the halfway line. Shaughnessy wins it. Gogic down for Kilty. Well challenged there by Halliday and knocked out of play. It'll be a St Mirren throw-in. Robin Nielsen looks like he wants more from his players. Over on the far side, just beside where Declan Gallagher's.
Oh, Robbie's in trouble.
Oh, so he is. David Munro's going over. He's shown him a second yellow card.
He did.
Nielsen's been sent to the stand.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking for a handball for Declan Gallagher, or Shaughnessy, when he chested it a minute ago before the throw-in, but then he did the old spectacle sign to the referee, which I don't think goes down too well.
No, that's not a
when you're on a booking
one.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think I caught it out the corner of my eye. So,
well, Brian McLaughlin's in that vicinity. Brian, I'm not sure if you're able to shed any light of what's going on in the technical area over there.
I think actually the fourth official and the referee have just had enough of Robbie Nielsen this evening. He's been in the fourth officials here all evening. I think it was actually yellow carded on Saturday as well in Paisley, but yeah, not too surprised that that's happened this evening. But yeah, Robbie Nielsen will have to watch the last 12 minutes or so from the stand.
Well, the Hearts fans trying to get behind their sides because they know they are in a battle here for the 3 points. They have got a free kick just outside their own penalty area. We've got just over 11 minutes of the 90 left, plus any stoppage time. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. The only goal coming in 29 minutes. A wonderful goal it was from Barry Mackay, but it's been a really enthralling game throughout, as Hill is caught late there by Reid. The Hearts players surrounding the young St Mirren player and the referee. It is a yellow card for Reid.
I don't know. Look, it was just a card together. No, I can understand why he's been yellow carded, but I don't. It looks as if the Hearts players are charging in looking for more, and I don't think it deserved any more. The two of them are going for the ball. Hill gets there slightly before Reid, and he's yellow carded.
Yeah, but it was more of a shoulder-to-shoulder type challenge. There was no arm up or anything. He was just
I didn't think so.
He was a fraction late, but anyway, he's been booked.
Yeah, I think the players there just getting almost caught up in the heat of the.
Well, the atmosphere's certainly risen a notch or two.
He gets booked for his first challenge, and Alex Gogic is getting another 5 or 6 before he gets
Bacchus was let off what looked to me like a blatant second yellow. So a little bit of perhaps inconsistency there, you could say. Anyhow, St Mirren have a throw-in over on the far side, midway inside the Hearts half, and it will be a long one incoming. As their skipper Joe Shaughnessy from the right hand side launches it into the Hearts box, looking for the equaliser. Snodgrass first to it, gets the header up to the edge of the penalty. Kwal and Flynn contesting it there, comes back to Shaughnessy. Not a good ball in from Shaughnessy, far too much on it from the right hand side, and it comes all the way out to the near side for a throw in, and the former Hibs man Alex Gogic is getting it in the neck from the Hearts fans down in front of us. I don't think he would need to be an ex-Hibs player to be rumbling the Hearts fans up the wrong way. He's a combative and no-nonsense player, but a very good one to have on your side at times, certainly. As Hearts have the throw in this near side, launched long by Hill, nodded down by Taylor. Gogic picks up. St Mirren in the ascendancy, you'd have to say, as Kilty picks up. Can't find a teammate though. Gives it away to Halliday. Halliday does well to find Devlin. Devlin though gives it straight to Gogic. The Hearts fans round about us showing their frustration. Now it's Flynn, right hand side, comes to Kilty. Oh, good saves under Clark. Then it's Flynn. That's saved as well and knocked away. Comes to Ayunga. Ayunga with a shot, and it's wide of goal. It's going to be a Hearts free kick in the end for the challenge that Ayunga put in on Snodgrass. But my goodness, Hearts are causing their own problems inside their own penalty area, and St Mirren couldn't get it past Xander Clark.
Well, Xander Clark's come up big time for Hearts there, and it's 2 really good saves. Hearts, as you said there, Alistair, almost the architects of their own downfall. Cammy Devlin, so poor, gifting the ball away in the middle of the park. They just need to calm themselves down, need to show better composure. This is where the pressure is really upped, and you were talking earlier on in terms of pressure coming from the home crowd at times. This is it right now. There's 8 minutes left to go, 3 very important points on the line. Are the players able to handle that pressure? That's what this moment is like now.
Xander Clark's had very little to do during the game, but he's come up with 2 massive moments there. The first save you'd expect him to make. I felt as though the second one was a brilliant reaction save. 2 shots on the angle from about 8-9 yards from St Mirren, both saved by Clark. Then Ayunga in the follow-up. Okay, a foul was given eventually, shooting into the side netting.
Hearts heading down the right hand side. Humphreys can't make anything of it. Tanzer just hooks it over his head up to the halfway line. Ayunga can't get onto it. Now it's battling away with Sibic in the air, wins the header, but it's thumped high into the Gorgie sky, and it's picked up by Ryan Flynn inside the centre circle. On his first start in the league since May, Ryan Flynn has done well in that wing back position. 34 now, and lasting the pace well at Tynecastle with 7 minutes left. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. Really good contest here. Here's Humphreys, good first touch, and now he's turned, he's running at the back line. Kwal in support, back goes Gogic. Gogic wins it, Gallagher slides in and wins possession, and St Mirren will try and launch a counter-attack. Is Gallagher going long?
Good
Hill
defender.
watches it all the way though.
Really?
Humphreys has to play.
He's got to.
It has to.
And I can't believe that he can't see him. He's got to see him out the corner of his right eye.
He does.
It's not difficult. It's a 5-6 yard pass, just slid into the front of Garang Cole, and he is going right in on goal and getting a strike off. He's still trying to do step overs and beat defenders that are in front of him. That was poor. Initially great play from Humphreys.
Main taken down by Sibic, about 35 yards from goal, and St Mirren will have a free kick in a very central area. Snodgrass is having a real go at Toby Sibic for something that
it's Michael Smith. It's Michael Smith he's having a go at Al, because he's talking and he's absolutely spot on. He's given away possession.
Brian McLaughlin, a St Mirren change?
Yeah, I think Stephen Robinson's gone all in now. Eamon Brophy coming on for the last 5 or 6 minutes or so, plus additional time. The player being replaced, Richard Taylor.
He's had a good first start for St Mirren, Richard Taylor, and looks like a good addition to the squad there. But as Brian says, it's got to be all or nothing now for St Mirren as they look for an equalising goal in the last 5 minutes or so. They've got a free kick in a very central area here. Might just be a little bit too far out for a shot, although Scott Tanser might have other ideas. His shot comes off the top of the wall, player down with who took that on the head, and the referee stopped play. Is it Halliday who put himself in the way?
The orange bits on.
And just outside the penalty, the Hearts physios are waved on, and Hearts will have the possession anyway. The ball was breaking to Xander Clark, and St Mirren pass up their latest opportunity. But
it was, I was just talking about that attack before. The ball got played into Humphreys. He did brilliantly, just turned away with it, and then he's able to break and attack the defence. And Cole was up, absolute lightning to get in line with him. And all it needs, as I said, was like a 5-yard straight pass into his path, and he's shooting in a goal. And it's moments like that can change, the course of the game.
I think he wanted the moment for himself. I think he's thinking, I've done a good turn here.
Absolutely.
I'm 20 yards from goal. I'm going to try and step over and hit a shot. Whereas the simple, the clever, and the best thing to do would have been just to slip in. You're right. It's a very easy pass to execute, and Kuyol had made up so much ground. And you're again spot on. If he plays him in, he's got an angled shot 1-on-1 from about probably 14 yards on Carson.
Running in on goal, he could do whatever he wants. He could take a touch and get closer. It was a good worked opening. It was passed up, and you just know when moments like that get passed up, the intensity just increases and the pressure mounts, because St Mirren are chucking everything down the other end.
Andy Halliday's back on his feet. I think
doesn't look too good.
Well,
right
the
enough.
thing is, I'm just checking. Yeah, he went off against Hibs with a head knock, and he missed St Mirren because of concussion-related issues. So this has got to be a bit of a concern, and he is being replaced. Brian?
Yeah, Alan Forrest is ready. He's spot on, Al. He missed the weekend game because of the concussion protocols, and he looks a little bit groggy just walking off the pitch below me here. But yeah, he's off, and Alan Forrest is on.
Well, it's concern for Hearts because Peter Hanning's been missing for months now with a head knock.
Yeah.
And Stephen Kingsley's still out with his head knock from the Dundee United game. You would hope and you would expect that these guys would be back by now. So if it's another player who's already had a knock on the head is having to go off again, it just adds to the disappointment of the players that are missing.
Out for a throw into Hearts on this near side. Alan Forrest's first involvement. We've only got a couple of minutes left of the 90.
There'll be a few added on it. What it has done, that stoppage, is taken the sting out of it for Hearts. I mean, that was a kind of sustained pressure, spell of pressure from St Mirren for a good 5 or 10 minutes. It's just given Hearts a wee chance to regroup.
Here's Devlin, goes down under a bit of pressure, and it's been given St Mirren's way. I think it's handball, the referee has indicated there from Devlin, as he was looking for a free kick.
But it was a free kick. He did everything you would expect. He put his body across in front of Reid. I'm astonished that he's given or he didn't give Devlin the free kick.
Good contest there between Main and Hill. Hill comes out on top, but St Mirren get the break of the ball. It's Gogic on the edge of the box, looking to try and work the shooting opportunity. Now it's out with Tanser. Tanser left footed into the area. It comes. Oh, did that come off the arm of Kyle
That's a definite pen.
It's not a penalty kick.
No,
yes, it bounces off
a corner.
It bounces off his hand, but it's not a penalty.
Right, it's going to have to go to VAR.
Well, the VAR will look at it, but it's not a penalty, Tomo, because what's he done? The ball's hit his arm. It's bounced up off the ground, hit his arm. It's not a penalty kick.
But from here, and bear in mind it was in the far side of the penalty box, his arm's nowhere near his body.
Your arm doesn't need to be near your body. You're playing football, your arm moves.
Right, well, they're checking it. So, Michael, are you saying it's not a penalty because you don't think it should be a penalty, or because you don't think that VAR will give it as a penalty?
I don't think it's a penalty, full stop. You cannot predict what VAR's going to do.
That's true. Oh, what?
No. Michael is vindicated with VAR deciding.
And I'll guarantee you, pre-World Cup,
100%.
that would have been given as a penalty.
Very possibly. Anyway, here's the corner, right-hand side. No, it'll have to be taken again.
So, thankfully, it looks like they are learning, because that was never a penalty before. It's not a penalty now. Thankfully, the officials are now realising.
Did you go in to give them a wee pep talk during the World Cup? Here's the corner, right-hand side. In-swinger from Tanser. Clark with a good punch out to the edge of the penalty area. Kilty picks up. Now it's Dylan Reid. Back with Kilty, left-hand side for St Mirren. Bundled over there by Hill. Hill shows good physicality, releases Quall. Hearts on the counter. They can finish it here. Quall finds Humphreys. Humphreys to finish it. Oh, he's put it wide. Humphreys has missed a golden opportunity to bury St Mirren, and remains Hearts 1, St Mirren 0. 5 minutes of added on time. We're into that now.
Well, I tell you, starts very good defending from James Hill down here, and then Garang Cole does everything that Humphreys didn't do before,
100%.
and lays it on a plate for his strike partner. And
I think he mishit it.
I think he did.
I think he kicks the ground.
I was just about to say, it looked like he stubbed his left toe.
I think he might have, but Garang. Kuyol does superb to lay him in, and you're right, it's exactly what he should have done in the opposite instance, but the finish left a lot to be desired.
His pass was a lot.
Throw in here, we're Shaughnessy in from the left-hand side, headed away by Snodgrass from inside his own penalty area. Comes to Reid. Now Tanser finds Kilty at the edge of the penalty area. Can he get a shot away? He's closed down by Snodgrass. Hands him off. Tries to play out to the right-hand side for Main. It's a poor pass. Main had made the run away, and it's out for a throw into Hearts, and they just need to kill as many seconds as they possibly can. It has been some performance from St Mirren in the second half. They just haven't been able to find a goal.
Yeah, it's credit to the team from Paisley. They've been extremely competitive and right in this game in the second half. I was just going to say though, that ball that Cole used to had to play for Humphreys, that was a lot more difficult than the ball that Humphreys had to play him, and he weighted it perfectly. A huge missed opportunity for Hearts, and you can see how quickly Carson had the other ball down. He was playing the by kick in split second. St Mirren are pushing.
Yeah, they're pushing, but the ball came off Ryan Flynn last there, and it will be Hearts who'll have the throw in over on the far side. 2 minutes of the 5 added on have already been played as Hearts look to move 6 points clear of Aberdeen in third place. As the throw-in's about to be taken by Hill. Down the left it goes, over Humphreys, over Gallagher. Shaughnessy's there to launch it back forward for St Mirren, who are still desperate for an equaliser. Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Hill's done well there again. Oh, Shanklin's gone down. By the way, that does not look good.
He's stumping the ground, but he's picking himself back up. Here come Hearts down the left-hand side. Humphreys looking to find Devlin. Devlin just beaten to it by Shaughnessy. Carson clears, headed on by Main. That's a poor bit of play from Civic. Yeah, as it looked like a foul there. And Hearts get the free kick from just outside.
Civic's a lucky boy.
Yeah, he didn't do well, but he was dragged back by Brophy.
Well, you know what, he was, but really, when you're into injury time in a game and you've got a pass back to your goalkeeper and you mess it up as badly as that could have gone very, very badly for him. And yeah, I have to say, as much as it pains me, Brophy did pull him back.
Free kick to Hearts just outside the box. 2 minutes left of added on time. Clark launches it long up towards Humphreys, beaten in the jump by Gallagher up to the halfway line. St Mirren get it. Still they come forward. Brophy hooks it over his head. Main can't make anything of it. Comes to Gogic. Gogic just heads it forward. Kilty will try and gather that one. Rowles, did he just nudge him to the ground there? Yes, the referee says St Mirren have a free kick 20 yards from goal, right of centre. Now this could be...
This is more Tanser territory.
Opportunity.
Yeah, this is a perfect area for a left-footed free kick. Should it be Tanser that takes it? I think it will be. Only 20 yards out. Slight angle.
It's maybe just a little bit far right of centre that Tanser will find it a bit more awkward to get it on target, but he's certainly capable with that left foot. And St Mirren, with the seconds ticking down or into the final minute of added on time, this could be their final opportunity to earn a point, which arguably they deserve from the game. Panzer is the player over at Brophy, and Main also there, but it certainly favours the left foot of Scott Tanser. It's lead off to Main. Main goes for goal and it's just wide of the near post. Zander Clark threw himself down to his left, and Main shot, a daisy cutter from 20 yards, just flashed wide of the goal, and that could be that for St Mirren. It's Hearts 1, St Mirren 0.
Not a bad strike from Main.
It was
very, very close.
It was actually a well worked free kick. I think everybody thought Tanser was going to take it. They just played it through the legs.
It's not something, that certainly is not something I would have predicted, of getting laid off and Curtis Main smashing him with his left foot.
No, but I mean, it was only probably a foot wide of the post.
Yep. Or maybe 6 inches.
7.
No.
High in the air from Devlin. St Mirren look like they've run out of time and look like they're going to fall to another defeat in Gorgie, which is so often their fate when they visit this part of Edinburgh.
Hill's been good, by the way, because especially as this game's worn on, he's been under real pressure.
Full-time whistle goes, and the huge roar from Tynecastle comes as much of relief, you would imagine, as delight, as Hearts had to hold on in the second half. They lost their rhythm, they lost their tempo, and St Mirren pushed and pushed for an equaliser, but it just would not come. And in the end, it's Barry Mackay's glorious goal after 29 minutes that proves to be the only one of the game, the match winner, and in many ways it's worthy of being a match-winning goal. Check that out online after midnight. You'll see it on BBC Alaba as well this evening, or indeed on Sports Scene tomorrow night. What a goal it was in the build-up and the execution, all phenomenal. But St Mirren, they gave as good as they got, certainly in the second half. They really pressed. Greg Kilty fired just over. Ayunga clipped the outside of the post. Clark came up with a couple of big saves inside the last 10 minutes. Although Hearts could have killed it off with Humphreys going through on goal in 90 minutes. But he sent his shot wide when he should have scored. And then in the final seconds, Curtis Main from a free kick fired just wide of Zander Clark's left-hand post. Hearts take all 3 points, but St Mirren gave it everything. It finished at Tynecastle. Hearts 1.